Well, we're going to take a little narrative ride on my new trail just past the hunting stand. What we've done is we've broken out of the trail a little bit more than a quarter mile from the Mad Bomber. As you can see, we blocked off the old trail. And this section of the trail, I just took my tractor and box scraper and scraped it. So I'd appreciate everybody riding down the middle of it so the line wears in the middle. And that way it'll take a long time for the slappers to go out and get you. So anyway, it looks more like a road than a trail at this point, but it will turn into a trail after everybody uses it for a couple of months and we get a little rain on it. So anyway, we started working on this thing January of 2015 and actually completed it last week on a workday project, pay dirt project. So we'll go along and I'll show you some of the particular interesting things that we did along the way. The trail is I think about 1 mile and 4/10, and what we've given up on the other trail, the old trail, and adding this new trail, we've netted right at 1 mile of new trail, or the loop is now a net 13 miles if you start with the creek trail. It feeds into it. The wind is a little tough today. We've been actually riding this trail. Weed whacked it really good, but so we could ride it, but there's a lot of the trail was like, if it gets wet or whatever, you're going to slip right off of it. But now we've bench cut, everything needs to be bench cut. And it's still a little rough, but nothing that a lot of wheels down and a little rain won't cure. Here's one of our famous climbing turns. That was where I originally wanted to put the trail, but as I came down the hill, shooting it in with a clinometer at about 5 to 7%, the darn trail ended up still way up too high. So this trail is just pretty much a steady climb. Every once in a while you have a little spot like this that's level, contour, but it gets you a little rest. Overall, the trail climb's really good. You go like my speed right now, which is 6 to 8 miles an hour. It doesn't even hardly wear on me. Now, if I was to go race pace, I'd probably blow up before I reach the top. Yeah, here's a few places that you're just going to have to wear in. We had rain, the grass is trying to grow. I don't feel like at this point, using chemical persuasion on it. So, it just rolls, little undulates here and there. This is what we did last week, was kind of do the benching through here. Ended up cutting a lot more than we expected here because we kept finding big slabs of rock, and every time you got one of them out, you created a divot that you had to either fill or dig down a little further. It's a little rock that we had to pound through, and then here's a little platform that we kind of built where you could turn and get on this nice bench, and you kind of rip through it on the berm. Here we really didn't bench it because what we did right here, but back here the grass was just going to have to wear off. Don't like to dig if we don't have to. Well, we came down about 5 to 7%. Every once in a while we put a reverse grade in to help the water go downhill, not down the trail. The trail is cut just a slight off camber, so the water will flow across it, not down it. We got in areas like this, there's a huge amount of dead brush laying down, and that took a while to cut it out. There we got another pretty good sized bitch cut going through here. This one didn't take all that long, so we had 34 people working on this one. So we got through it in a day. Still got some of the marking flags out. We'll swoop down. We're in a real large radius turn. Turn this around and continue up the hill, because if we'd gone any further we would have ran into another trail. Gotta be mindful to stay off the edges, because there might be some soft stuff there. We try to rake most of the soft stuff down the hill. There was why I missed a little bit. You know, that isn't any fun to hit that stuff. Gotta make your bike slide down the hill with it. Here we go. We got a little root feature coming up. Hit it just right. That's not too difficult. Shoot some brush, just cactuses falling into the trail. Now this spot here will probably be kind of dicey if it rains, because as we go along the dirt's going to wash off this rock and get more treacherous, and we may have to bring a jackhammer in to cut a little groove through there so you can stick on it. Just to stick on it if it gets wet. It goes through just fine when it's dry. We kind of had this roughed in last year, but we really started with a large screw up here a little bit and finished it out pretty nice. Now I had to do a few things, like there's a tree leaning in right here, and I guess the stump is still there, but kind of took it out, just couldn't go around it. You notice all these leaves forming up. That won't be fun at times, because they get really, those oak leaves get really slick. But I got a pretty good leaf blower. I come up here at least once a year and fix that. And this is where we ended last year, 2015. We had this done, and everybody's been basically doing in and out rides on it just to keep it wore in. And this whole trail, to get to it without me guiding, you pretty much have to ride the entire upper loop to find it. Go across the ridge trail on top of Flint Hill, which a lot of people, either you love it or you hate that section. But this section's well worth it to come across that. And this thing will get faster and faster as time goes on, you know, as it gets wore in. Coming up on the area where we actually started January 15, in 2015, we had to cut through a lot of hard stuff through here. Some of it was pretty good rock, other was softer rock, but it was before we came through here, it was rock climbing rules applied, 3 points of contact at all times. We first cut a little footpath through here so we could hang up here, and then we got busy. A lot of hours went into this section here. Then we hauled some fill out and filled this wheelbarrow, and then I'm going to call it Four Sisters because there's 4 drainages coming down there that we've crossed, so I think that'll be an appropriate name. This stuff here was just mainly scalping the grass off, and that's all we had to do. The Flint Hill Trail is probably 50 feet above us, altitude-wise. This was a livestock trail that we couldn't resist using. Of course, the livestock trail always runs out. We had to do some more bench cutting right here. Then we made a nice little drop. This drops right back into the original trail. And I'll keep on running this till we go through the Mad Bomber. Because right now I'm on a trail that's been here for many, many years. But it kind of makes the approach to the Mad Bomber a whole lot more fun. I have to name a new speed, call it GOPR talking speed. If I start talking a lot, trying to put out a good effort, I can't talk anymore. So I'm not putting out a terrible amount of effort. This trail probably needs to be rehabbed a bit. Cut the edge off, make it a little wider so it go a little faster. Of course, here's a classic line section, technical section. Here we are at the Mad Bomber. Try to go through it not so fast, don't jostle the camera too much. Here's the last berm. Okay. That's the new trail with the Mad Bomber thrown in. All right.